MrBeast has given us a complete blueprint to follow to blow up on YouTube.
Yeah. It's purely knowledge. Like, if you knew what I knew, you could get 10 million views a video, and you could get 10 million subscribers within 6 months.
I studied all of his interviews and created this 7-part playbook that led to his success that should also lead to yours.
You can study your way to consistently make viral videos, no matter how small your channel is.
I'm going to lay out all of that knowledge for you right now, starting with the foundation of every single video, the idea.
It's much easier to make a video around a good idea, obviously, than a bad one. Like, you're just setting yourself up for success.
The core of MrBeast's entire strategy is to have the best video ideas on YouTube. No matter what niche you're in, there's always a way to make your videos go viral within that niche. You must obsess over video ideas and constantly brainstorm new videos. And don't worry if you're broke and don't think you can do some kind of grand scale video like MrBeast. He even said as much.
Step one would I just brainstorm, like, I don't have money. What are some viral things? Like, the first thing that comes to my mind is something as simple as when I count to 100,000, which is what I did do when I was poor.
Never forget, he started as a broke kid that lived with his mom. Now, one thing that Jimmy or MrBeast says that you should spend a lot of time doing every single day is brainstorming new ideas. If you can't come up with any video ideas, you can consume other content. It doesn't have to be YouTube content within your own niche. It can be TV shows, it can be whatever, to just give you some ideas. A lot of us work off of inspiration, and that's a good way to do it. Now, once you've done this and you think you've come up with some good ideas, and you might have, you got to think about the angle to approach that video idea with. No matter how good an idea or topic you may have, you have to pick the right approach that's going to get clicks. That's where the outlier method comes in. An outlier video is a video that performs exceptionally well when you compare it to the other videos that channel has posted. He actually explains it better than I do here.
And what outlier means is if you have a channel with, let's say, 10,000 subscribers, and they get 100 views on their first video, 100 views on their second video, but their fourth video gets 100,000 views. That fourth video got 1,000 times the views of the other 3 videos.
You're going to eventually use these outlier videos to help you package your video idea into something that people will actually click. But first, let's talk about how to find those outliers. The easiest method of finding these outliers is by using a tool like vidIQ. This free Chrome extension allows you to see these little outlier multipliers by the titles and thumbnails of each video. The higher that multiplier number, the more of an outlier that video is for the channel that posted it. You should spend some time and go through both your niche and the niches that are adjacent to your own and find some outlier videos. Now, what do I mean by adjacent niches? Well, if you're in the business niche, for example, you can go to the adjacent niche that would be YouTube success or personal finance or something that's framed in a similar way, but not the same actual ideas and topics that you talk about. I strongly recommend that whenever you're going through and finding these outlier videos, you screenshot them and you throw them into a little swipe file or something that you can look back at later on. You want at least the title and the thumbnail, and sometimes you can even go in the transcript and find the hook and see what they did there. Now, once you've gathered several of these outlier videos up, you're not going to just copy them.
It didn't just go viral randomly. It either was a good title, thumbnail, the content, something about that video was special that caused it to do multiples better than the channel average.
So, as he says, you want to analyze these videos and determine why they went so crazy in the algorithm. Here he says it another way.
How can I do that 100 times better?
Right.
How can I put 100 times more creativity into it? How can I level up the editing by 100 times? How can I spend 100, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's always my mindset. How can I, like, if I get inspired by something, how can I do that but 100 times better and make it my own?
If you take nothing else away from this section, I want you to at least do this for me. Once a day, set a timer for about 15 to 20 minutes and go through and find some outlier videos. Take a little more time when you have time and go through these outlier videos and just look at them and analyze them, see why they were so successful. Whether it was the title and thumbnail, whether it was the retention editing, the hook, whatever it was. If you can figure out why, then you should use that information whenever you go to make your next video. Now, before we talk about that, before we talk about using these outliers to create your title and thumbnail, we got to talk about Jimmy's #1 rule of content creation, the rule of 100.
All you need to do, this applies to people who have not uploaded videos but have dreams of being a YouTuber, is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Do that. And then on your 101st video, we'll start talking, like maybe you can get some views.
He says this time and time again. Keep making videos. Don't chase perfection, because if you just keep sitting on a video and constantly trying to improve that same video for weeks on end, you're never going to get enough data and enough repetitions to actually get good. I'll let MrBeast give you the action step for this section.
There's a good probability your videos just suck. They just do. And you need to make hundreds of videos or 100 videos. I don't know. Depends on the difficulty of your videos. Improve something every time and just get to the point where they don't.
Titles and thumbnails are what I like to call the packaging of the video. Other than the big idea of the video, these are probably the most important part of the entire video. Just ask MrBeast.
Everything you
want as a creator comes from making the best videos possible and thumbnails.
Now we're about to talk about these outlier frameworks and how you use them to create your title and thumbnail, like I already said we were going to talk about. But first, we need to change your mindset about something. You need to change the way you think about the packaging of the video. You aren't making your video look good so that the almighty algorithm will pick it up. You're making your video look good so that viewers will click on it. It's that simple.
Anytime you say the word algorithm, just replace it with audience. The algorithm didn't like that video. No, the audience didn't like that.
That being said, you have to make titles and thumbnails that people will want to click on. The title of the video must set expectations for what the viewer is going to get to come. An easy way to both set expectations but also make something that people want to click on is by using these outlier frameworks. To put it simply, once you have these outlier frameworks, you can reverse engineer these titles and thumbnails and put in your own topic, your own idea into that video, and your packaging is golden. Break down the outlier titles that you have and just replace the topic of that title with the topic of your big idea. Take MrBeast's own $1 versus $1 million series, for example. You can take that title framework and remix it into something in your own niche. This is not the best example, but if I were to do something, I would do like a 1-hour edit versus 10-hour edit YouTube video, something like that. After you figure out your title, you have to figure out your thumbnail. Boiled down to the simplest level,
The thumbnails on the most viewed videos or videos that go super viral tend to be clear, tend to not have much clutter, tend to be pretty simple. Titles tend to be less than 50 characters. Intros tend to be this. Stories tend to be this. And you just kind of like, after you see those thousands and then tens of thousands of times, it just starts to click in your head. Like, this is what it looks like.
that's some traditional advice, but it's still the best the world has to offer. It helps if you have a face with some kind of emotion, whatever kind of emotion you want to display with that title and thumbnail combination, that's what you need on your face. Don't forget, use contrasting colors, and if you're going to use text, use big, bold, and bright, so like white or yellow colored. In fact, it's actually a good idea to make 2 or 3 different versions of your thumbnail and test and compare them using the A/B test feature that YouTube has. Maximizing that click-through rate is crucial to success, and we'll let Jimmy talk about that more later on. For now, don't forget that thumbnails have to be easily understandable on a little phone screen. That's actually where the majority of YouTube viewers are. For this section, I challenge you to make 3 different thumbnails for each video you post from here on out. You should use some kind of comparison tool like testmythumbnails.com or something like that you can look at it in mobile view and make sure that it's easily understandable at that 120 pixel level. I think this step would make MrBeast really proud of us all. Now that the packaging of the video is done, you have to match the packaging with the actual video content, and that starts with the hook. As Jimmy puts it,
So those first 5 seconds, that hook is now even more important than it ever used to be.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, before it was important because you had to convince people to watch.
Yeah.
Now you have to convince people to click and watch at the same time.
Whoa.
With the first 5 seconds.
That's driving CTR now too. Yeah.
It is,
Interesting.
100%.
Wow.
I personally think that this is the easiest part to learn, but the hardest part to master in all of YouTube. Once you can get the click, keeping the viewer is also very tough, but MrBeast explains it for us right here.
Yeah.
And like the thing people undervalue the most is literally the first 10 seconds of the video. Like it gives you everything you need.
Yeah.
No wasted words, short, concise, and then tension.
He wants us to move quickly within the first 10 seconds or so of the video to confirm that the viewer will get what they clicked on if they keep watching. Basically, you're making sure that the thumbnail is not clickbait and that the viewer will get their expectations for the video met. This first 10 seconds should tell them why they should watch the rest of the video. Here's this in action.
People click on it, and like I want to give people what they want. You know what I mean? I mean, anyone can clickbait, but do you actually like deliver on it? Like we say, we put 100 million Orbeez in the backyard. We put 100 million Orbeez in the backyard, even if it's like brutal. I mean, we're talking like months that video is in the work, but we deliver. You know what I mean?
He's made this pretty straightforward. Now, you should include several different pattern interrupts whenever you're editing this hook. Keep it fast with changing scenery. We all know that the TikTok generation's attention spans are completely fried, so keep that in mind when you're editing. What I want you to do for this step is to write out 3 different versions of the hook for each video you make. In your editing, pick the one that fits the title, the thumbnail, and the rest of the video content the best. Speaking of that video content, let's talk script writing. The ultimate goal of the script is to keep the viewer's attention at all times. Once you hook the viewer, the goal is to keep them watching, right? Jimmy says it best.
You need the overarching narrative, and then you also need the micro where every second, needs to be entertaining. And you basically, what's interesting is the longer people watch something, the more likely they are to keep watching.
To do that, you've got to keep tension and up the stakes at every single section of the video. Now, it sounds like cliche internet marketing theory, but saving the payoff of the video or the best piece of advice that you have until the end actually works.
You could apply that to your videos. If somehow you could have a payoff at the end, then more people are going to watch to the end just to see what happened. Just obviously don't cut out all dull moments, try not to over explain things. the camera just sits on me and I'm just talking for 20 seconds. It doesn't hold retention as well as, you know, maybe me talking and other footage popping up.
You've got to constantly be building up to that throughout the rest of your script. So yeah, escalate the stakes, keep the viewer engaged, and actually deliver on what you promised in the hook. Retention-based editing can be a key to this strategy. You want to edit out the dead moments and also anything that doesn't move the plot forward. That being said, in a long video, you're going to have to include some side stories that are actually relevant to the plot.
It's very hard with a single storyline if you're doing like a double-digit minute video to just have that one thing grip their entire attention throughout the whole video and pay off at the end. So typically, if you're doing a longer video, you should introduce like a side story and like you should have some plan halfway through, like to re-engage them so they don't just get bored. You know what I mean?
He clearly has this down to a science. In any given video on his channel, he's got several different threads or side stories that all tie together at the end or at least at some point and make it an interesting video. If you're an education channel like this one, you might talk in parables or give personal stories or something like that when you're giving people advice. There are tons of ways to do this across all the different niches. You can and should include mini hooks that build that tension in each section that we were talking about earlier. Speaking of that, MrBeast's most important advice comes at the end of the video, so let me talk about data real quick and then we'll get there. For right now, I challenge you to write out your complete outline of your video, however you do that next time, and then include a mini hook in each segment that will keep your viewers engaged until that next segment. Now, no matter how long you work on the script, no video is perfect. The only way to constantly improve your content is by studying the data. If you want to know where MrBeast got all of his YouTube knowledge that made him the greatest YouTuber of all time, you can look no further than the YouTube analytics section. Everything he is came from his posting of videos and then studying the data after the fact. He says as much.
If you talked to me 4 years ago about anything other than YouTube analytics,
No,
it was
I
all.
remember we used to talk. Yeah.
This was like a YouTube like algorithm and content creation, like just GPU computer.
You can literally troubleshoot why any video doesn't do well by just looking at the analytics of that video after the fact. For example, a low click-through rate means that you had a weak title or thumbnail or both. These days, AI like ChatGPT and Claude can help you analyze your titles and tell you why they are or aren't good, and it can also kind of do this with thumbnails as well. I would take advantage of this if I were you. Now, don't go and have them make thumbnails or anything like that. I just mean analyzing them. Now, you should also be studying your retention graphs to see where your viewers drop off. Jimmy says,
In your analytics, and most of you probably know this, audience retention. You can see where people click off. Just literally go through your last 50 videos, write down where everyone clicked off, and then just don't do those things again.
if you see the spot where people click off, you should be able to tell whether it was a boring part in your script or if your editing was slow or something like that. Now, A/B testing thumbnails is also huge. It gives you real-time feedback on what style thumbnail gets clicked on the most. Take advantage of it. Now, MrBeast sums up the use of all these YouTube analytics perfectly.
To me, what's important is click-through rate, getting people to click on your video, and then average view duration, average view percentage, or just relative retention, and having them watch it. If people are clicking your video more than they click other videos and they're watching it longer than they watch other videos, as simplistic as that is, that's like what YouTube wants, and I think that's how you just be successful.
I want you to take a look at your last 3 videos retention graphs. Look at the spots where a lot of your viewers clicked off and figure out why that was. Write these down and make sure that you don't make these same mistakes in the next video. Now, it is important to note that even this data can take you only so far if you're creating content in a vacuum, if you're not involving yourself with other people. You should aim to be around or at least talk to other people that are also obsessed with YouTube. Even if you're not obsessed, people that want to win on YouTube. Here's a little bit about MrBeast's own experience with this.
Basically what I did was somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. We were all super small YouTubers, and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral. And we would just call it like daily masterminds. We would just get on Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed, I'd wake up and I'd do it again.
And then when I was 19 and I had like 10,000 subscribers, maybe it was like 18, and that's when I started meeting a few other YouTubers online, and I realized like I'm not a freak, I'm just like obsessed with YouTube, and that's okay. You just got to find other people that are like that.
These quotes make it pretty straightforward. Jimmy says that his success comes from not just doing the hard work and studying all the data, but also being around people who are doing the same thing. You can apply this to literally any area of life. There's actually a Bible verse that spouts this same wisdom. Proverbs 27:17 says that as iron sharpens iron, so does one person sharpen another. Besides the actual tactics that he uses on YouTube, this is probably the most important important piece of advice that MrBeast has ever given. I'll let Jimmy wrap it up with this quote.
Just all along the way, the friends that I hung out with had such a dramatic impact on where I am. I'd probably have 80 million less subscribers, you know, if I wasn't so strategic about hanging out with people that I add value to and they also add value to me.
Now, do you remember when Jimmy said that anyone can go viral if they just understand his YouTube knowledge? Now you have that knowledge. Now, I guess you can go create a group to start working on this stuff, or you can join my free school community, Creator Edge, that's already full of people just like you trying to win on YouTube. These are the people that MrBeast wants you to be around, and I want to be a part of it too. Go sign up for free now at the first link in the description. Until next time, peace.